Awesome. So yeah, so on this call we have Shannon, all the way.
Hey.
Where are you at in South Africa? What
So
city?
I'm from a city called Pietermaritzburg, just outside of Durban in South Africa.
Awesome, awesome.
So really, really small town. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I might want to visit next year. It's pretty good.
Come. It's
Yeah,
such a cool country. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Awesome. Yeah. So for this call, I think maybe we can just start by you going over like what exactly do you do, and yeah.
Yeah. So I run a paid traffic agency for mostly e-commerce stores. And I have I seem to specialize in working with high-end art and design brands, as well as beauty and then sportswear brands. So that's sort of where we focus. And we have had a really, really good couple of months, which has been awesome. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think we first got on a call maybe I think January or February. Well, this year. I don't know.
No, it was before
No?
that. I'm pretty sure it was like last year, because I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
was still during like COVID lockdown here.
Yeah.
And you were doing the like done for you outreach, like lead
Yeah.
sourcing program.
Yeah.
And
I
I think
think yeah,
I
go
think at
ahead.
the time I was still doing like real estate as well as like ecom. I think I was doing
Really?
both. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what happened is we first got on a call. You weren't necessarily ready to, you didn't trust me
Mm,
yet. But I think we ended up getting on a call like a few weeks later or a month later, and that's
mm,
when you decided to actually jump on our done for you service.
yeah.
So yeah, what made you go sign up for that service?
Um, Two things, and the both of them are going to sound a bit foolhardy. One was I'm a big believer in gut feelings, and you're the first person in the space that I'd like had a good gut feeling about.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I actually like this person, which is a big thing for me. And
Yeah.
then the second one was I kind of I tried doing it on my own, and as much as I think it's really important that anyone building a business knows the fundamentals about their business and they know how to do things. I also think you have to realize when you're bad at something. And I was bad at lead sourcing. Like I
Yeah.
was really, really bad at doing it and I didn't enjoy it. And so it kind of just got to the point where I was like, okay, well, if you want to do this properly, you need the right tools. So
Yeah.
you provided the right tool.
Amazing. Yeah. I think we worked together for a month, and then yeah, you ended up taking a break, and then yeah, what did you think of the Instagram stuff?
Yeah, the Instagram stuff was dope. I think we worked together for I think it was like a month, 2 months. And I think like I've still got like 4 clients that you guys found me
Yeah.
during that time. So yeah, it was really cool. And like at the time it was the perfect solution. It was exactly what I needed. And I still think it's
Sure.
like such an awesome tool. And you guys just had I think this is where a lot of people get stuck, is like you get these influencers and stuff who are like, oh, I'll teach you how to do it, but they don't teach you how to build the system and
Mhm.
like the step-by-step process and then actually implement it. And stuff like as simple as you have to have a team call and you have to have like metrics and you're tracking right and all that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And you guys just were really good at implementing that. And
Yeah.
so even after we took a break, I I'd got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I don't even have the right media buy or anything to like service these clients. So
Mhm.
I went and sort of built my own internal systems.
Yeah.
And then I think it was weird. Like every time I had a problem, a video of yours would pop up and it would be like you'd be talking about like something that I was having a problem with. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is weird. This is weird. And then when you released this program, I don't think you'd even released it yet. You were still like brainstorming it in your Facebook post, like you were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I like commented on a few posts and I watched a few things and I remember messaging you and being like, Serge, what's cracking? and we
Yeah.
jumped on a call, and I can't remember if it was a 1 call or 2 call. And I was like, well, I know I've worked with you before. I know the
Yeah.
system. Even if it's just like the done for you thing again, I'm happy to pay for that because I know it works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just turned into so much more, man. It
Yeah.
turned into so much more.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about that. So essentially, like I think maybe like 4 weeks ago, maybe or 5 weeks ago, we jumped on a call. You ended up making a decision like a week later. But yeah, you were interested in joining the program. But
Yeah.
why did you want to join the program if you had already worked with me? That's also like, because a lot of people don't understand it, and I think that this could be a lesson for a lot of people. It's like, just because someone like, and maybe this is actually a lesson for you, okay?
Yeah.
The way large businesses grow is not by acquiring more and more and more and more customers. It's to get one customer and to build more products to serve that one customer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was really fun for you to want to join this program. Yeah, actually it made me happy, right? Because I'm like, oh shit, this is really good. And from now, I think we've had probably like 2 3 4 customers that we had on the done for you actually end up signing for this program again. So that's pretty good. But anyway, yeah, so let's talk about your experience after joining the program. Like what was your experience?
Honestly, it wasn't at all what I expected. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but like
Yeah.
I've done courses before, and I expected you to waffle on a lot more about how successful you were, because 90% of like the courses I've like done, like half of the module is like someone talking about how great they are, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I agree with you, you are great, like you're fantastic, but at the same time, like I want to freaking learn, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it was really concise. What I kind of enjoyed, and the reason I've always felt super comfortable about talking to you is like, you aren't someone who I ever speak to and you're like, you give me the impression that it's like a dumb question. Does that make sense? Or like,
Yeah.
oh, you should be so much further down the road. It's kind of like
Yeah.
where you are. And when I was looking at joining the program, I mean, I think 2021's been a hard year for everyone. But in South Africa, it's been like particularly rough. And
Mhm.
so it was just a year of like a lot of things clicking into place for me. And it was like, personally, like, what matters to you? Like, what
Yeah.
is important? And for me, like, it is my family, being able to support my family, being able to support like the dependents around us, and being able to help people and help my community.
Mm.
And I think for me, I just got to that point where I had a great business, but it wasn't growing. Like I knew it had the capacity to. And so I was like, well, the lever I pulled last time was using the done for you. So if I could see all this proof that you had, in my mind, checked every box, like you had the offer creation down, you had everything we needed down, and kind of could talk me through any blocks I had.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this is actually what you need. Like, you need a community around you, you need that accountability, and you need people who are that little bit ahead of you and are actually behind you and going to be like, yeah, you got this, like, come on, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And I think that for me was and is 100 times over worth the investment. Like, you need that, not only that accountability, but also like that support when you don't know how to handle something. You need to
Yeah.
be able to ask a question without feeling dumb.
100%. Yeah. And yeah, I think one of the things that also like made me like be happy about you joining the program is because, I realized this when you told me that like most of your customers have been with you since like last year, right? When you told me that, and you told me I'm not sure if I even asked you your MRR, but I know that just by the fact that you're able to like retain your customers, like it's unreasonable for you not to be running a 7-figure business. Like it's just,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
ridiculous, right?
yeah,
So that
yeah,
made me feel like, what the hell are you waiting for? Because most people, like as much as I'd love to help people acquire customers, most people can't actually get them really good results. So in the
Yeah.
back of my mind, and that's why I'm actually trying to onboard more experts who can actually help customers on
Mm.
the back end. Because if you can't really, the best way to the best business owners aren't really the best at acquisition. They're just best at delivering the transformation. So when
Yeah.
you told me
Yeah.
that you have retained your customers for 12 months or more, I was like, oh shit, that's even an
Yeah.
actual angle to use with your acquisition. It should be a piece of content, right? So that was really sick. So I was like, yeah, let's get you a bit more money. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so I think once before we actually even jumped on our onboarding session, I just asked for us to hop on a call because I want to give you that quick win before actually I don't want to waste someone's time when they actually buy. I want to make you feel good for actually investing money in the program. So I asked you to, we hopped on a call, we talked a bit about the audience building stuff. Like what did you think
Oh,
of
I
that?
hate that part. I remember talking to you and you were like, you've got to create content. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm so scared. But and
Yeah,
then I was like, I sat down, I think like the next morning, I was like, okay, you just, because I really love running. And I was like, you've got to create 2 pieces of content before you go for your run this morning. You have to do it. Like you don't
yeah,
get to go for your run before you do it. And I sat down and I created 2 pieces and they were like arbitrary pieces of content, like not even like, it was literally like off the cuff kind of like.
yeah,
And I remember coming home and I think I messaged you on the group or like I messaged you on Facebook or something.
yeah,
And I remember coming home from my run and like my content had pulled in 2 calls. People had been like, can I book in a call with you to like,
yeah,
and from that I've got, so well, from the content I've created, I've sold like 3 consulting offers and then 1 like full acquisition offer, like paid traffic offer. And
nice.
I was like, damn, Serge was right. I know Serge was right, but damn it, did he
Yeah,
have to be so right?
yeah, and insane. And I think like you were able to also like actually like find a group of store owners. Like talk a bit about
Yeah.
that experience of you finding an actual, like I think it was a newsletter, not necessarily like a community.
Yeah, so I actually don't even know how I'd like ended up on the newsletter. I think I'd worked for like a beauty store before and I'd kind of ended up on it. And I I kept getting this thing, can we call you? Can we jump on a call? And I was like, I know when I'm being propositioned for a sales call because I do this. Like I know.
Yeah.
So eventually I was like, yeah, okay, you can jump on a call. And I was like, I'm going to reverse sell this person on this call. I'm going to reverse sell them. And so they gave me the whole spiel and I was like, that's great. Like, it sounds like your customers are great, but this is what I do. And this is how I can help your customers.
Yeah.
And the woman was kind of like, okay. And then she kind of called her manager and the manager jumped on the call with us. And I reverse sold it and I got access to their whole database of customers. And I had like suddenly this insane pool of qualified, perfect clients that
Yeah.
they were endorsing me to. So not only did I have like the social proof of them being like, this person knows what they're doing, but I had access to this massive database of people. It's like 15,000 people or something ridiculous.
That's
And I
insane.
was like, my word, this is the perfect, like perfect
Yeah.
situation. And I think if I hadn't spoken to you like 2 days prior, I never would have thought about reverse selling them. I never would have like even looked at that email and booked in that call. I just wouldn't have
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm like, hopefully people will watch this video, but like it's ridiculous. And because I looked at my growth and the reason why I was able to grow, and I keep repeating this fast, but it's because the people that I sell to are my part of my network. So I don't
Yeah,
have to go outside and scream on my balcony to find customers, right?
yeah,
They're just
yeah,
there, right? And that's why I created this consulting program because I was like, well, why? Because you're targeting stores, right? People are running
yeah,
e-commerce brands. Well, guess what? Someone has already sold them something.
yeah,
So why go do one input to get one output when you can go in and do one single action and get access to thousands of ideal customers in one single spot, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, if anybody's smart enough, or at least like actually disciplined enough, because at this point it doesn't require you to be a
Yeah.
genius. It's just about actually
Mhm.
doing the work, right? And yeah, how many meetings did you book like from that list in like 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, I mean, it was something ridiculous though. I remember, so I'm in South Africa, so I like now for me it's like 10 to 8 at night. And I think I worked till like 1 in the morning on calls
Oh,
every
wow.
single night for 2 weeks. So it would start at like 4 p.m. and I would just go back to back till like 1 in the morning for 2 weeks.
Insane.
I remember. And like it got to the point where I was like, I actually need sleep because I still like get up in the morning and do like normal person stuff. So I was like,
Yeah,
I need sleep. So I actually took like a break from posting with people. And I became way more picky about qualifying my clients. And it's now come to the point where I'm like, I'm actually in the point where I'm looking at like reducing clients or increasing
the price.
price because it's like now the value is worth more than the bottom
Yeah,
percentage
yeah,
is paying. And like at the same time, if you want to grow and you want to scale, you need excellent team members. And for me to keep finding excellent team members, you got to be able to pay them. So
yeah,
it's yeah, yeah.
100%.
So you were actually talking about this the other day, but I think it is
Yeah,
something that's like really coming home to me at the moment. Is like I know they talk about investing as well. Is that like most of 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your investment, right?
yeah,
So like I've kind of realized it's the same thing with your clients. And if you can get like a $5,000 per month client, they are generally way nicer to deal
yeah,
with. They're awesome to deal with.
yeah,
And the the amount of investment is the same. You know, like you have to give the same excellent service, whether you're charging them $500 or $5,000 a month.
hmm,
And I think
yeah,
that's the big lesson.
1,000%. Yeah, I think, and we've increased our price, right? So not
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't bring 10 G's, we might give them a discount. We might give you a discount if you're nice and if you're committed. But it's like, we're sacrificing the most important thing, which is our life and our time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just then, there and then, like, yeah, I'm pricing however much I want to price it at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have the option to either sell a $5,000 car or to sell a Bugatti for $1 million. And guess
Exactly. Yeah.
what? There is someone to buy both. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think like increasing the price has probably been one of the best decision even for me. And yeah, the people who pay way more actually don't even bother you as much. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I have people that paid me $500 and it's like they bought my whole life. They're like, hey Serge, what's going on? I'm like, relax, man.
I think it's like what's interesting is my dad always used to say to me and my brother growing up, he was like, who earns more money? Is it like the VW salesman who sells like 20 VWs in a month, right? And he earns like $1,000 commission on each car, right? Or is it the Bugatti salesman who sells one Bugatti a month, but he earns $100,000 commission or
Yeah,
$50,000 or whatever, right? And he always used to say to us, like, you've got to think about where you position yourself because it's a lot more work to sell 20 cars than it is to sell one. And you just have to find one right customer. And I never really got it. And I hate this like term scarcity mindset, but like when you don't have a bunch of money, $500 is like a lot of money. You feel like you're selling your soul. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I think until you get to that stage where you're like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's also an investment that like is going to acquire me X many customers that are paying this much. And actually that investment's paid for itself in like 2 months, you know.
yeah.
I think like I think that's what has kind of clicked in my head is that you have to, if you're not surrounding yourself with people who think like that, it's easy to get stuck in that
Yeah.
VW salesman mindset. You
Oh
know?
yeah, 1,000%. I think it's so important. Like your environment is literally everything. And you know, And that's why I'm really looking to push this community thing, even on my calls. I'm not actually pushing too much on the insides. I'm just pushing like, hey, you'll be surrounded by people getting after it. Just that
Yeah.
alone, like you're gonna grow. Like it's
Yeah.
unreasonable for you not to grow if everybody else in your environment is growing, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
even when you get, times where we're not winning. Well, it's cool, good, because everybody's not winning with you. So it's like
Yeah.
we're all going through
It's
the
still,
same BS, right? So at least it's a it's cool environment and you're getting after it. You're seeing, and if someone is really winning really fast, and then you're like, oh wow, what's this person doing? Well, you get
yeah.
automatically get the feedback to actually do the same thing, and boom,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, and that's pretty amazing. But yeah,
I also think like part of it is, I think a lot of people have this gene. Like I'm a competitive little sucker, and like this morning I was feeling particularly lazy, and I
yeah,
was like, oh, I'm gonna take a day a bit more chilled, and I like logged onto the group and saw like all the wins, and I was like,
yeah.
damn it, man, like
It's
you can't take a day off.
no days off today.
So yeah, it is cool. It's really, really, and it's inspiring to see so many people, like each person has their own reason for it. And I really dig that. And everyone's super helpful and super
Yeah,
friendly, and it's really cool.
yeah, yeah. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. Looking forward to how this thing evolves. But yeah, increase your prices. Like, yeah, triple it. Like, just make it a ridiculous amount of price where you quote it and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't even know if it's reasonable to even charge people this amount. And somehow people will still make sense of paying you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think like I was always quite nervous because I felt like I didn't have the proof behind me, and I didn't have the case studies, and I didn't have the, and now like I got such a sick case study from a client the other day, and it was like we'd managed to take her business in 3 months. We had like over doubled her revenue,
wow.
and it was insane. And she was so happy in the like video she did, and I was like, yeah, okay, now I feel like I can do it. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, it's so good, but like the actual fact of increasing your price means that you have to become better, right?
Yeah.
Because you're
Mm-hmm.
not just going to charging 10 grand, 20 grand if you're still the same person who can't
Yeah.
even deliver on a $500 ticket. So the good thing is that you actually add a restriction. You actually restrain yourself. So you actually have to become better. You have to get better case studies. You have to get more social proof. You have to add more value, or at least be
Yeah.
able to communicate your value better. So your sales argument
Mm-hmm.
needs to be even better than you trying to sell $500 product, right? So that's really good. It's like you just increase your standards and like you gotta meet them. So it's
Yeah.
like the fastest way to succeed.
I've got a question for you. And
Yeah.
I think this is something I haven't seen you cover in any of your videos.
Yeah.
What was the moment for you that like unlocked that between I'm running something and I'm doing like a cool job and I can support myself,
Mhm.
and like, damn, I'm gonna grow this? What was that like? Everyone has like that click. What was that click for you?
Uh, I don't know. I think it comes back to environment. I don't think I've, I don't know. For me, really, I like to, for me to see, it's really different. I don't follow, like, I don't like linear growth. Like an example, recently, I haven't yet hit 6 figures in a month. We got close, but like I haven't really hit it, right?
Hmm.
But what I've really noticed is that whenever, what I like to do, if ever, let's say I want to hit, let's say 50K a month, I'll never actually schedule, like put that as a goal.
Hmm.
I'll always aim higher, right? Because if
Yeah.
I put 6 figures as a goal, it becomes unreasonable for me not to hit 50.
Yeah.
So then I hit, let's say 75. Okay, perfect. We're up past that. And then
Hmm.
recently I just said, hey, let's hit 250 a month.
Yeah.
I think for me, the thing that has, because the great thing with being an entrepreneur is that like every level you get to, you become more confident, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like a feedback loop. So let's say when I hit my first 10K a month in January, I was like, oh wow, this is actually possible. I think when I hit 10K, because everybody has this goal of hitting 10K, right?
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
it fucking like 9 months ago. So it's not like it hasn't been that long. When I hit that, I think the boost of confidence just went crazy through the roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you hit, like, I think that it's winning that just breeds more success.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. It's like every day you win and you're like, wow, this is insane. But I
Yeah.
think the moment was my first ever sale that I actually made
Really?
with my business. Yeah.
Okay.
Last year, probably like October, August or September, I got my first customer. And it was for, an advertising
Yeah.
offer. It was
Yeah.
for a coach. And we got on a call, literally one call closed, no case studies, no nothing, don't even have a media buyer to help me, literally nothing,
That's
right?
so cool.
So, and I think the crazy thing is that, I charged him, hey, 1,600 per month. And he just ended up paying 3 months up front.
Whoa.
And I had
Yeah.
spent before that, like probably like 2 years trying to really make this business thing work.
Mm.
Never really worked here. Got local friends to pay me for Facebook ad. But a month, 2 months before, I had actually quit my job. I didn't have any customers. I just said, hey, I'm tired of this
Yeah.
job. Let me just actually bet
Yeah.
on myself. I think when I got that transfer, I think something went off. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, shoot, a stranger can actually send me money. But
Yeah.
the thing that tweaked is that I can actually make money from nothing.
Mm.
Because when
Yeah.
you're working a job, you don't really understand how the economy works. You just think that a paycheck just comes every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But now when you actually make money yourself, you change the paradigm. You understand, like, I can have an idea, find a prospect, convince him, show value, exchange value
Yeah.
for money. Well, you could do
Yeah.
that 1,000 times. You could do that
Yeah.
1,000,000 times. So I think it's every win that I get, I think it just clicks. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that first sale just changes everything. It's just like it's you become something else. You become something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I've just not, one mistake that I haven't done too, I think a lot of people make is actually getting distracted and letting momentum pass by.
Mm.
Ever since that, like, first sale, I haven't taken a single vacation. I have not
Yeah.
stopped working on the business. I have not stopped learning. So it's just been literally like, it's just been compounding, one sale after another, boom, boom, boom. And yeah, you just create a belief. And I've just changed the belief around who I am. I'm just someone who makes a lot of money.
Yeah. And I think that's like, that's really, really powerful. And I think for a lot of people that's out of their comfort zone, like believing they make a lot of money is very out of their comfort zone.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But it's like it has to change before you actually get to the money, right?
Yeah.
So a practice that I like to make is I just like writing the same thing at multiple times every morning or every night, so that my
Okay.
subconscious mind it's that. Let's say if I want to get to
Yeah.
250K a month, well, I need to write it enough times for me to see the
Yeah.
work through that lens. Meaning
Okay. Yeah.
every input that I get, it goes through this 250 goal. So it actually, everything gets judged by, does it help me get to 250 or does it not help me? But most
Yeah.
people don't have this filter. So they get the right information, but since there's no goal attached to it, the filter isn't there. So I can tell you, hey, go find an audience, build a really good offer, build a consulting offer. But since you don't really understand what's the purpose of everything, you end up not putting anything in place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
starting
That's
with,
very true.
yeah, so by having a really good aim and you repeat it yourself every single day, well, you start saying, hey, I need to change my wake up time, or I need to sleep more because it's going to help me focus. I need to remove all the distractions. I need to remove alcohol because, yeah, the 250K a month goal, I need to become someone who's more focused. So everything just goes through the lens of that goal. And yeah, but it's just a game. I think I just like it because it's a game. I think I'm someone who's not actually attached to the actual, like, I don't think I'm attached too much on success.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just like to do it because it's good. It's just a little, boost of confidence. But I don't think that I like the more money, the more whatever. I just think it's just a game, and you just because we're all going to die someday, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
whether you're making billions or made nothing, you're still gonna die the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
like what I found really fun is like there's been like a 3 or 4 month period now where I've actually been able to make like tangible differences in people's lives
Mm.
because of making money. And that for me was like a really click
Yeah.
moment in my head. I know that sounds silly, but like it became like I listened to this podcast with like Lewis Howes and Ali Abdal, and he talks about like gamifying life to create
Mhm.
habits, right? And I've started like gamifying stuff that makes a difference in other people's lives. So like it might be something really stupid like buying someone lunch, like you don't know who they are, but like paying it forward. Or it can be like walking into the supermarket and buying like a bunch of dog food for the dog shelter or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, like before I was making money, I never felt like I had the disposable income to do that on a consistent basis. I always loved doing it,
Yeah.
but I didn't have that opportunity. Whereas now for me, like that's like a really cool feedback loop. That's a really cool feedback loop to be able to be like do something like that every day.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people forget in their balance is that you have to keep up the momentum, but in order to do that, sometimes you have to, like you just said, make it a game, like
Yeah.
make it cool. And you have to find what works for you. And for everyone, it isn't always the money. Like for some people it's the free time it gives you, or the
Yeah.
experiences it gives you, or the travel, or whatever it is. And I think you just kind of have to find ways to keep it rolling like that.
A
um
thousand
and
percent.
since we can't travel at the moment, this is a good way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest goals is probably like just inspiring others to go after it. Because
Yeah,
I would just want
yeah,
to be like, hey man, like shit, I went from nothing to something. Like, please stop making
yeah,
excuses. But
yeah.
actually, because I feel like for me, I think I would have probably seen the success that I'm seeing right now way earlier if I actually had access to like
Mm,
if there were more people actually saying it's possible, right? Because right
yeah,
now, to be honest, I still feel like I'm in a movie. Okay, I feel like someday I'll just wake up and this will not be real. Because like it's literally because for me, I still cannot comprehend. I mean, I understand business, I understand this, but like I'm feel like I'm still a bit too early in the space to really have that really like actually growth in depth.
mm,
I could make
mm,
content, I could make money here, but like I feel like there's still some foundations that I need to set. But I think my biggest goal is to how far can I take this? Not for me to be, flying around in jets, although I'd love that, but to actually show that like, hey, it's actually possible to go from literally
yeah,
nothing to unbelievable like heights. And just, because it's good, because once you succeed, like people around you will want to also like, yo, what are you doing? Like, hey, can
yeah,
I also get
yeah,
into this? And then if you can create an environment, I think that's why I'm building. I'm sorry for cursing, but I have to curse sometimes. Fuck it. But the reason why I'm building a community the way that I'm building it is that I think that the play is actually just going to be create a place where people can actually come in, build businesses, and get help to actually scale those businesses, right?
yeah, yeah,
So like it's not just going to be about acquisition. It's not going to be just about that. It's like how can we build like not necessarily a school. I don't care about schools, but
yeah, yeah,
an actual ecosystem where you come in, you're like, hey, I want to be good in business or I want to be financially free. Okay, perfect. Let's either turn you into a consultant, an agency,
yeah,
or let's have you sell products. But like you get in, you know how to create offers, you know why people buy stuff, you know how to deliver, you know how to retain, you know how to do everything. And I think that's really an amazing so that because right now I cannot really help I don't really have a course for beginners, but
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to help someone go from zero knowledge to being able to make money just by themselves.
Yeah. And I think what I find really cool about your community as well is like I feel like so many of the people in this space are, they either come across the way they speak as like really condescending,
Yeah.
or not like, not, I think it just happens because they know so much, and like if you're starting out it can be really intimidating. I don't think no one I've ever met in the like agency space has ever been condescending. Like they've always been lovely. But
Yeah.
I think sometimes it can just come across as like really intimidating.
Yeah.
And I think the other problem can be that it just seems completely unattainable. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it's so scary. Like if you're sitting in your bedroom, like you can aspire to drive a Porsche one day, but like you don't know how you're going to make that happen. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
right.
And it's great that someone's posing by a Porsche and like telling you how cool it is to live that life, but like you don't really know how to make that happen. And so if you don't have the right community of people around you who are also like, hey man, I'm starting out too, or I'm stuck too, or you know, whatever, it can be really, really scary.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing for me that's so cool about our community is that or the community you've built is that like everyone is very open and very transparent, which is really cool. So it never feels like someone's kind of speaking down to you, or do you know what I mean? Kind of
1,000%.
Yeah. And I think that's a really cool trait to have.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, it's hard to just imagine stuff, right? It's like, oh yeah, okay, I want to make $1 million, but like, how will you do it?
Yeah, and no one says to you in school, this is how you make $1 million. Like no one sits you down. It's
nobody
like,
shows you like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think environment is so important, so much, like actually, like ridiculously important, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this call lasted a long time, but
Sorry,
really,
I think I'm going over.
yeah, especially that it's late for you. Thank you for having hopped on this call. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm not sure if you had anything else to add before we end this.
I think just like, I mean, I can't recommend you enough. I think you know that, like we've chatted about it before. I was actually talking to a friend about you today. So if you get an email from a friend of mine, that's where it comes from.
Nice.
But like, yeah, I just think that whatever capacity you want to start your like journey in, or whatever you want to do it, just make sure that you don't lose out on momentum, you don't get comfortable, and you don't get discouraged because you aren't taking the step to join a community. And it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be like a massively expensive course, but just keep surrounding yourself by like people. And obviously I recommend your community because I think it's awesome. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
100%. Yeah. Thank you, Shannon, and really appreciated this call.
Cool. Thanks, Serge.
Have a
You're awesome.
day. You too.
Have a good evening. Cheers. Bye.